So guys, it's dyno day, so just getting the bike ready, just getting myself ready. Just want to show you where you're going to be sitting. Oh bloody hell. As I've bought a new clamp for my phone, so this will be where you're sitting. So hopefully you can hear me a bit better. I've got microphone in, about to start. If you can't hear me any better, it means I'm talking to myself. So yeah. So let's get going. So I don't know what this is going to be like. It's the first time I've used this. I'm just going to have to unplug. Let's get going. Now I've obviously got the you see my other videos, you know I've got a new rear shock on as well. Didn't really have a lot of time to set it up, so unfortunately just with myself. So I tried to do the static sag. I like to set my bikes up with static sag rather than rider sag personally. I mean, obviously in an ideal world you'd have both, but then you need spring weights and all weights. So like always, got to adjust my mirrors. So in an ideal world I'd get a GoPro, but one, I can't have anything on my crash helmet, it just puts too much weight on. I know that sounds silly, but my neck really suffers. And this was really the only solution I could come up with at the moment, the phone, plugging in with a microphone. Hopefully it's working. Hopefully it's working well. Because I know that there's some people out there that want to know what the Hill-Tech quick shifter's like. And I think one thing I didn't say about the rear shock is that it looked about 5mm shorter. Now, when I originally, let's see what the microphone's like. When I originally so the rear shock, as I was saying, is about 5mm shorter. Now when I had my original suspension in, it was already set all the way up, as you can see with the adjustment. Plus also I have 30 or 35mm dog bones. I'm going to have to check that. So the seat does feel a little bit lower, but the bike's still turning in lovely. And that's pulling nicely, just on mid-throttle. We're at 60 mph at the moment. Yeah, and that does pull nice. And exactly how it should. So I'm hoping that the video footage is usable, because it looks like it's shaking its head off. If not, we're going to have to come up with a new idea, some kind of rubber bracing. And I think I was saying to someone on the forum, what I like about the quick action throttle is hardly have to move it at all, which really helps on my wrist. Let's go through there. So we've just come off the A2, we're on the M25. And this is where I like to test the quick shifter, just off of these lights here, going on to the M25. It does work really well. Obviously you've not got a quick shifter on this one. I mean, that's pinned up to the red line, that is, and that feels great. So we're going past Brands Hatch, or Brands Hatch was the next turn off. That's my local track. The only one that I've done a track day on. I don't know whether it's where I'm just getting older, I'm a lot more cautious now. So hopefully we had some good footage along the motorway. The bike performed exactly how it should. It's actually zinging, it's beautiful. To be honest, I think if I could go back, I'm unsure whether I would have bought a new one, you know. It was a lot of money. Yeah, it's nice to have two bikes, but now I find myself thinking, well, what one am I going to ride? I think the grey ones, I'm just going to keep low mileage on that. I'll probably do 1,000 miles a year or something. And this one I'll batter. Nadger's Menagerie. Here we are. Oh, car coming backwards. Why is that indeed? What are you doing, buddy? So there we are, the Performance Solution. That's the name of the company. So, we've arrived. Hopefully we've got some decent footage. I'm just going to turn off for a second and just sort myself out.
Dave and the Performance Solutions. That was incredible. Really surprised at the results on that one. 106.47 and 45 foot-pound of torque, which is amazing. I'm really surprised at the little girl. And it's running a little rich still. So main jets, I'm actually going to go back to standard jets on the mains, and on the clips I'm going to go up by 1.5. So there's still some more power in the girl, but 106.5, and when you think that the 636 is putting out 112.6, I think it is, and I'll show you the fuel curve on it, and that's at 47 foot-pound of torque. So people asking, is it worth swapping from a J2 to a 636? I don't know, that power's close, isn't it? I think you've just got to, I mean, that exhaust pipe's made a difference, you know, and it just sounds beautiful. So right, let's get home.
That's a nice thing. I like that one. I know, bikers are really kind. Watch it, careful, careful. Well, I hope you've had a nice little journey out with me today. I'm sure it'll get better. My talking, my commentary. It's a lovely word, that is. Going across? Yes, you are. Because I'm a biker, mate. We're kind. Bikers are nice. We've got a rough deal. We've got a rough deal. Oh, you beauty. It sounds so nice. Talk to me, baby. Ooh. On comes a fan, as it normally does, as I wait here. And we're off. So, we're back. So guys, we just got back from Performance Solutions and seeing Dave, and massive thank you to Dave. Always super knowledgeable, always talks through what I need to do, making sure that I'm not going over the top with going 2 clicks or reducing the main jets more. In an ideal world, as we said, we would change it and then test it, change it, test it for the optimum. But we know pretty much whereabouts we need to be. We need to come 1 down on the main jet, and we need to go up a clip and a half in the middle, and then that should do us. And then when I get a chance, a bit more wonga, we put it on the dyno again. But it was a great experiment this morning. It's fantastic. I'm so happy. 106.61 from the old girl. Really good. And when I get home, because I literally just took the tank off and that's it, I'm going home now. When I get home, I'm going to get a cup of coffee. Might have a bath first actually. Cup of coffee, sit down, and let's go through these graphs with the 636 as well. I'm going through the 636, and again, this is another thing where people can go, do I get a 636 or is a 600 still all right? 6 brake horsepower difference, 6 brake horsepower. And to be honest, I think there's when I run the 636, it was running hot. When I originally got it, the bike would run between 87 and 92. Wouldn't overheat, but would just run at that, and it would just run hot. This runs 75, 80. Dave did say if you can get that temperature down, it will produce more brake horsepower. He suggested, he said sometimes with these older bikes that haven't done a lot of miles, thermostat gets a little bit tired or worn or just loses out. So I put a new thermostat in, and that seems to have done the job. So again, that needs to go back on the dyno at some point to make sure that's 100%. But let's get this done, and yeah, let's get home and chat about those graphs and see what you guys think. I'd be really interested to, you know, the reason I take it to the same guy is because then I've got a comparison. You know, he told me what dyno he used, the way in which the equations worked out. You know, I've had people from America telling me they're getting 125 brake horsepower at the rear wheel on their 600. Yeah, okay. They probably are on the dyno in which it's done, but the equations are done differently in different countries. But I mean, the 636 is only putting out 118 at the crank, so he's getting 125 at the rear. I've got no idea, but there you go. Excellent. Let's get this sorted. Go home, coffee. See you later, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Hi guys, so I wanted to try and get this video finished to free up some memory on my phone. I've not been great, that's why I've not been able to finish it. So if I'm a little bit wishy-washy, I apologise. Try to re-watch what I'd been doing and what I was actually working on. So obviously this is we've been to see Dave, and we've had the ZX6, the 600, the J2 on, and as I said in the video, we ended up with 106.58, and there's still a bit there. But what I wanted to do first of all is I wanted to show you the 636 and why I had kind of guessed what I should be going towards. However, as I said, not the right way to do it, and it kind of shows it, because you know I've overfueled it on the top end, and we're still got too much fuel in the mid. So we knew that we had to, or talking to Dave, you know, we know we need to make those changes. Now Dave has said to me that on the top end he doesn't know whether it'll come down 2 or 1. Because I'm not taking it back down the dyno, I'm going to go 1. Then at some point go back to the dyno and then see if we can to go 1 more down. And that's really the proper way to do it. And I haven't done this really on the 636. Really, I only took it twice. I've done it one as a bass, and I forgot that the 600 I did do when I originally got it. Standard headers, MTC can. We run it with a baffle and without a baffle, with 4-degree advanced timer, Dyno jet fitted, K&N, which personally I don't think K&N filter does any different to a normal filter, a nice clean filter. I just like them because it's great. I mean, the amount of times I've got my airbox off, I just take it out and clean it, and you constantly got a new filter. Then you haven't waiting for every year or whatever. So I just like them for that reason. Whether they give more horsepower, I'm unsure personally. But yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and zoom in, get the pictures on these, and try and voice over of what I've got. So the 636, what I'm going to do is put up the original one that I took down now, and then bringing it home, adjusting it, and then taking it back. So we'll go through those two first of all, of kind of my plan of to try and smooth out. I knew it was going to be mid-range because they always have a drop, and looking on the forums, lots of people putting on, I think it was Scorpion cans, but a lot of people putting on stubby cans, and we know stubby cans will, like, I don't know, what's the phrase, all show and no go. They really do kill your performance. So they're not really a performance pipe, but if you do need to do any jetting, this is the kind of stuff that you're going to need to do, and it is generally in the mid-range. And it's generally over fueling in the mid-range, so it's up in that clip. Even if you haven't got a dyno jet kit, you know, the standard needles that are in there have got adjusters on there, so you can just adjust that yourself. It really isn't a problem. It's actually quite easy. So yeah, let's crack into it and go to the pictures. Oh, fuck. I'm so knackered. So guys, I'm not the best at reading these graphs, but I try and make the best of it. So in an ideal world, we'd have a nice power curve, but I believe with carburetors, you're never going to achieve that. So you try and make the best of what you can. We can see that there's a slight curve off at around about 6,000 revs, and the biggest one is at 8.5. Then powering through that. So that is clip where we knew that it was too rich. As you look down to the air fuel ratio, you can see that it's around about 11. I believe the air fuel ratio, the ideal would be 12.8. And then we get onto the higher revs at around about 11.5 to 12,000. You can see that the air fuel ratio is in the upper limits, so it's running lean. 13.5 air fuel ratio, and so we knew from there we needed to richen the top end and lean out the middle, and we went one clip down in the middle, and I took the dyno jet main jet out and put a 160 across the 4, and I'll show you what happened from there, and that came out 113.34 and 48.12 foot-pound of torque. So now we move on to the after of moving the clip up one and making main jet bigger to the 160s. You can see that dip at 8,500 has really come out, and the throttle response was so much better. We did say that we might try go half a clip on that,
so I might try that, and then again get it back on the dyno. And you can see that the fueling is much better. We're not in the red at all. At higher revs, we're not lean and we're not rich. We're pretty much on it now. It did come out at 112.21, or there was two, 112.61 and 112.21 with 47.12 foot-pound of torque. So it did seem to lose something, but it was an extremely hot day. Plus also the bike's running hot, so I do need to get it back down now. I've actually adjusted the clip by half, sorry, but I've not taken it out for a run. So once I've taken it out for a run, I can see what it's like on the throttle, but you can see the difference in what it makes there. So here you'll see two power curves and two torque curves. One is with a baffle and one is without the baffle, and this is with the MTC slip-on standard dyno jet kit, K&M filter, 4 degrees advanced timing. And what amazed me was with the baffle, and this is a standard MTC baffle, it produced 96.88 brake horsepower, and without the baffle it produced 104.23. And to be honest, this is why I then invested a lot of money in both of the exhaust pipes, because it is obvious that a baffle is really sapping the power. And if we can get away with a decent race exhaust system that is quiet, because I took that with the baffle producing 96.88, I took it to a track day and it failed noise testing. It was 103 at Brands Hatch. Now, fortunately enough, someone had another baffle and we was able to put it in. But my Arrow full race system, I took it again to Brands Hatch and that produced 98 decibels. And that's without obviously a baffle, because it's a complete race system. Now again, you can see that drop in power in the mid-range. It seems to be a thing with ZX6s with what I've seen. Didn't have an air fuel mix on that one, but really took that information and took the information that I got from the ZX6 A1P, and that's why I'd done the adjustments that I had already in the previous video. So let's look and see how that's now changed. So this is the dyno that we've got from today, 106.58 and 45.16 foot-pound of torque. If we compare this from the one before, the 104, remember we'd made those adjustments, so the difference is full race system, secondary air intake system, delete. We've got one up, making it a little bit leaner in the mid-range, and we've made it a little bit richer at top end. Now it's too rich at the top end, we can see, and we can either bring that down by 1 or 2, and the clip we reckon by going up by 1.5. Now I have done that since coming back from Dave's, and I took it out for a ride. If you thrash the bike all the way through the rev range, the throttle response feels great. However, let's say if you're doing on a private road, doing a roll on at 70-80 mile an hour, there's a slight hesitation, and that's at middle at around about 9,000, 8.5. So I think the 1.5 going up another 1.5, so 2.5 from standard middle, is too much. So I've actually brought it back down by 1/2, and that should be then spot on. So ideally we need to get it back on the dyno, but I'm really happy with those figures. And when you compare that
to the 636, okay, there's slight adjustments that we can make, and that 636 was running hot, but there's only really 6 brake horsepower difference and 2 foot-pound of torque. So I don't know, you guys make up your mind what you think, and I'd like advice if you think I've done something wrong, but the way in which I think I've looked at with Dave's help, and again, I can't thank Dave enough at the Performance Solutions. I think I've definitely gone in the right direction. The throttle response is superb, to be honest. It's superb. So I'm very happy. Cheers, guys. Hi, guys. So that's it for this video. Because I'm still going to be playing around with the carbs. I've still got to adjust. I've done an adjustment on the 636, gone up by half to make it leaner in the middle, and on the 600 I've come down by a half just to see whether I can get rid of that roll on. Let me know, comment down below what you think. Whether you've had experience with it at all, whether you've been on the dyno and whether your fueling's not right, or what's happened with an exhaust pipe. Hopefully from these videos, where I've taken the carburetors off, you can see how to take your needles out. Hopefully you've got confidence to then do it, because it is literally trial and error. It is literally try it, go back to it, try it, go back to it, try it, and go back to it. So hopefully that gives you guys the knowledge. I couldn't tell you whether I would go for a 600 or a 636. I think if you was just upgrading, as I say, I only bought the 636 because it had 1,900 miles on the clock. If it was a J2, I would have bought it. It wouldn't have bothered me. The extra 36cc, I think the way in which the press go around it, they say it's such a much better bike. Well, you can get the 600, and what was interesting, I went down to Brands Hatch and see Brian Greenfield, who races the 600. He's got a J1, I think it is, and it's an old Super Sport. Say old Super Sport, it's been rebuilt, and interestingly, his brakes, he's running Brembo Master cylinder, Hell lines, and the standard calipers. I don't know what pads he was running, but it was the standard 6 pots. And a lot of people say, "Oh, change to the 4 pots," and it's interesting seeing someone who's winning races in the what is that? The FI 600. So that's pre-ignition, pre-injection. Sorry, pre-injection bikes, and his bike's putting out, I think he said 118, 120 brake horsepower at the rear. So that's had a lot of work done on the engine. When you think 112 out the 636, 106, it's not that far away for a standard engine that you want to run for miles and miles and miles. And what I really like is the exhaust pipes aren't that loud. Both of them passed track testing. When I was down there, I tried the titanium one, and I just had a chat with the guys and asked them to put the rod in now, and that one was 100 decibels at the time, and I was holding at 8,000 just to double check. So both of them will pass track days, which is great. And so I know that I've got that power that's there. So yeah, interesting stuff. Hopefully you've got something from it. Sorry it's taken a little while to get it out, because it was all being done for May Day, which is literally 5 days away. So yeah, I've not tested the 600 since the roll on, but I know that will be fine. Either way, I can sort that out, but I need to get them back down on the dyno. Both of them, I've made adjustments on them, and see how they go. and I'll let you know. So that's it. It's a wrap. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate all the new subscribers and your support and your questions. Thanks again to Performance Solutions and Dave. Really appreciate your help. Thanks ever so much, guys. And always remember, check your nuts.